Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1236. Happy Friday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. This is Friday. Shit. It's a free for all Friday, which I don't have. So we're going to have to, at the end of the show, as we prepare for Name That Player, going to have to give me some time to put together our list of cards for Name That Player. Was watching the Olympics yesterday because I don't boycott. How about these Olympics? I feel bad for the people not watching. These Olympics have been fun. The women's gymnastics team, Simone Biles had an amazing, as per usual, amazing performance yesterday. Aired in primetime last night, but took place yesterday. I watched Team USA women's basketball. They had a fun game against Belgium. Belgium was like kind of handling them. It was a pretty close game throughout, but towards the end, Team USA went on a big run to finish out. I think won by like 8 or 10 points. What else? There's a French swimmer he's like the new Michael Phelps, Léon Marchand, and I think he swims at Arizona State, actually. And he had a race. It wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago. Phenomenal race. Of course, you've got, I think, Kate Douglas won a gold yesterday. Katie Ledecky. So it's been a lot of fun. Just stay away, as George says, a lot of controversy. Just stay away from all the bullshit. The opening ceremony stuff. Now everybody, the people that were boycotting now care about a boxer from Algeria, who, by the way, has a vagina. She's not a man. It's a man, baby. She's not a man. She has a vagina, female anatomy. So there you go. So it's been a fun Olympics. I haven't been able to catch the women's 3-on-3. Flew was on the same flight as them. But haven't been able. They're 0-3, so maybe I don't want to watch. And I haven't caught any of the men's 3. And I have the men's Team USA 5-on-5 played. I haven't actually. Yes, I did watch one of the Team USA game. They played Serbia, I think. So I've been and I was like gearing up for I was excited for the Olympics, mainly because it gives me some new type of content during the day to have on as background. So which my technology struggles continue. I'm like frozen when it comes to whatever the hell's going on in my house. And I made a stupid mistake. So I bought the laptop and I ended up getting it on Amazon. It had better all of this than what I was going to buy. And I didn't look close enough. And it's some like knockoff brand of Nyakun. So I open it up and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I look at my order. I'm like, fuck. So I was got it booted up, had some it's not connecting to my Wi-Fi, which very well could be the way my Wi-Fi works around here. Very well could be the Wi-Fi, not the laptop. Then I watched a YouTube review of these like knockoff laptops from Amazon. And I'm like, and he was having similar problems than what I was having last night. And I'm like, okay. So that puppy is getting packed up. I've already found another one that's HP. It's not some knockoff. So I'm going to return this POS, order a new one. And then I'm like, since I'm on a roll, so I couldn't sleep because I'm like worried. I'm not worried, but I'm like just annoyed by all of this. So one thing, we have the wireless mesh with the Wi-Fi satellites here. And so I was looking that up. I was just like, what's going on? Why does my Wi-Fi suck? And I have the mesh network. and I've got it in points all over the place. Well, and I think that leads to the problem, at least upstairs, where you should have your mesh satellites within like 2 rooms, I think is what the article said. So my router is down here in the basement, and I've got one satellite in my shipping room because that's the most important room for my business. And I don't have any problems with, surprisingly, in that room. I don't have any problems, knock on wood. But my issues lie in my rec room. And like there, for some reason, and the rec room is between the router and one of my mesh network satellites. Like it's literally the room in between. I mean, it's off. Like it's not in a direct, not a direct hit. So red light, what's up? He says hardwire is the way to go. So I am I have the ability to hardwire in. I just, for whatever reason, I haven't figured out how to like this computer here is still on Wi-Fi. I've got the Ethernet, or as John Keating taught me, the Cat 5, and for whatever reason, it doesn't connect. My TV, so the TV, and this is like the mystery, the TV upstairs in our living room, which doesn't have issues either, knock on wood. And my wife's like, well, this one's hardwired in. I'm like, so I look and I'm like, no, I don't think so. And she's like, yes, oh yes, it is. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not, then I don't know what hardwiring is. Can you look? And she's like, she's looking. She's like, oh, she's like, where's it? I'm like, see, I don't know. So, so I don't like, I want to move the satellite up, but like right now, I think I'm just going to leave it because upstairs, we don't have a problem. We don't have any issues with our Wi-Fi upstairs. The only issues I have are with my rec room TV. And now this TV, which the remote, I've turned the TV off. I've reset the remote. I've put new batteries in. I've done everything I could do. And I'm at a loss. So this TV hasn't even been turned on. Well, it's been turned off and on, trying to figure out the fucking remote. So the TV works and it pops up just like normal, but the remote doesn't work. So I don't know if the remote was like, if I spilled water, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I've got to get some techie in here and like, can you like, that was like that's what I wanted to begin with. When we moved in, I want this professionally installed. And so I don't have to fuck around with this shit because I don't know what to do. And here we are. So, and I've had friends over and they're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You said you knew this shit. What do you mean? Help me. So happy Friday. We're looking at a puppy today. So we're looking at a puppy today. So we put Biscuit down. What night was that? Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. And Wednesday, my wife comes downstairs and she's like, so let's go look at a puppy. There's a puppy available. And I'm like, can we just like wait a day? Let's just wait a day and see if it's the right time. So last night, and she's like, nope, I'm gonna like, let's do it. I'm like, I'm okay if you're okay. Okay, let's do it. She booked the time this morning, Friday morning, later this morning, we're gonna go. Of course, a day goes by. Last night, we're in the living room. Guess what my wife says? I don't know. Do you think it's too soon? I'm like, oh. See, that's why you wait a day. Come on. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, tell me, what are your concerns? What has changed? Why do you think Why are you questioning it now? It's going through your mind. So she says, well, the puppy that's available is a male dog. And I'm like, okay, what are your concerns? Why do you not want a male dog? Well, and I'm like, is it just because of the Red Rockets? Because that's not a big thing. She's like, no, they mark their territory. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do females not do that? She's like, no, females don't do that. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, is this a thing with all dogs, or is this just a thing with Havanese, or what's your thought? She's like, well, I don't know. And she's like, well, this dog doesn't. He never marked his territory, like her friends' dogs that have male dogs. And I'm like, because, there's just as many male dogs as female dogs. She's like, let me text her friend who also has a Havanese, and it's a male. I go, okay. I don't know if she got an answer back. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and puppies are really hard. And I'm like, I understand that, but we also have to understand that we're going to get a puppy at some point. So might as well be sooner than later, right? We're just delaying the inevitable. And I said, so this puppy's available now. The next batch because we're going to get it through this breeder. The next batch won't be available for adoption until October. And she's like, you have to take out a puppy like every hour. And I'm like, okay. A couple thoughts. First thought, would you rather take a puppy out every hour in August or in November and December? August, September against November, December, January, February. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, my second thought is, how am I going to get any work done? Because I'm the stay-at-home dad to this puppy, but I have to work. So, and she's like, well, we can put a little fencing area or create it so you can see it. I'm like, okay. That's fair. All right. So those were some questions, some concerns. And I'm like, the other option, John, is we wait until next spring, but I don't want to wait until next spring. Like now I could wait until October. Like I'm okay waiting until October, but I'm not interested in waiting until like March. Like that's too long. Like I want to have a puppy around or a dog around by, Christmas. And see, I think everybody in here is like, just get the dog now. And that's kind of my thought process. Like, let's just get it now. Let's just not wait, because otherwise we're just delaying the inevitable, because we're going to get another dog. So we didn't cancel the appointment or anything. So we're still going to go. And she's like, well, let's just go and look and see if it's the right thing. Now, here's the issue. I can walk in, meet a puppy, and leave without the puppy. My wife, on the other hand, does not have that ability to leave the puppy. We will be adopting this puppy. So we will go live tomorrow morning, Hobby Evolution, Saturday morning. And I'm probably going to come on here and say, happy Saturday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. We have a new puppy. Because that's what's going to happen. My wife's, she first thing, like right after, like, we got to get a new puppy. And then a day goes by and she's second guessing herself. She's questioning it. And then once she sees the puppy and plays with the puppy, she will take the puppy. So we will probably have a new puppy. Red Light 30. Ooh, I like this. We potty trained our golden doodle in 2 weeks. I like that. Like, how long? Like, because my wife's like, have you ever had a puppy? And the answer is yes, no. Have I had a puppy? Yes. Did I have to train the puppy? No. I was at like 12. So I've never, as an adult with the responsibilities of a puppy, had a puppy. So we had a puppy, Boomer, the black lab, when I was a kid. And so Cooter said, right, it's your wife. I assume she's the one who makes you buy Goodwill pallets also. Well, that's part of the business category. That's a business expense, so that doesn't count. Let's see. Let's just go back to where we'll just jump into dog talk. Dog talk. All right, there's the mesh. All right. And we'll hit up the earlier chats in a moment. Card Hobbyist, thank you. I appreciate that. Zach says, pop quiz. What is more challenging, breaking in a new puppy or managing responses to LRS on a live video? That's a stalemate. They are equally challenging and somewhat annoying. George says, after you get the pup, you need to go fishing and catch me a fish for my new aquarium. Can you put bluegill in your aquarium? Because that's about the only fish I can catch. A bluegill. There are catfish in my pond, but I don't have the stuff to catch a catfish. I only have like what dumb bluegill can bite on. Sports card ripping teacher, what's up? Thank you. I appreciate that. Zach, a puppy is no joke. Riggins' first year, I would have paid someone to take him. He was crazy. And see, I don't want a crazy puppy. I just want to get them all ready. Like, can we skip? Like, can we keep it with the breeder and be like, can you train it, potty train it, and then we'll come pick it up in a couple months once all that hard stuff is over? Is that a service they provide? I'll have to ask. Is this a service you provide? Brian said, you go out there and you find that fucking dog. F-bomb Friday. Zach says, breeders treat the week after a family's dog dies like eBay sellers treat a prospect getting called up. Ooh. List and sell 20% over sticker. Watch your wallet. George says, actually, I could go fishing. I, too, bought a rod and reel after walking by a lot of folks fishing the other day. You and I need to do a live stream fish off your pond and me in Korea. That would be fun. John says, fuck that hat. Old style, baby. People ask me, do you like the beer? And I'm like, no, I think it sucks. I mean, I drink it when I'm at Wrigley, but would I order, if I go to a bar, would I order an old style? God, no. Would I go buy a 12 pack? Ugh, no. It's a cool hat. I like the hat. Sports card ripping teacher says, I was going to say that you want to get a dog in April, May, so you can do outside training stuff when it's better outside. Yes. John says, get the dog now. Can't have you two unsupervised. John says bye, or Zach says bye. George says, exactly. Get that little bundle of joy and piss now. Orlando says, just get the dog already. You need a companion. I agree. And I mean, my wife even says, like, it's just so sad walking in the house to an empty house, which is true. And when I go upstairs, it's like, I'm used to going, hey, and like talking to the dog like it's a human and can talk back. And it's weird not having that. Red light potty trained its golden doodle in 2 weeks. Well, maybe it's already potty trained. Maybe the breeder's had it because he was supposed to get adopted, but the family had something come up and couldn't adopt a dog. So he's still there. And hopefully that's the truth. And it's not like he's a little hellion and they're like, take this dog back. John says, we'll know by the bags under your eyes whether you got a puppy or not. And when Hobby Evolution starts at 8:30 and 7:30 and 7 all over the place. Name it Lil Jerry. Kyle says, male or female dog is irrelevant. That's what I always thought. I've never heard of like, oh, we only have to get a female dog or we only get a male dog. A dog is a dog. When going to pick a new one out, my advice, pick out one that comes over and wants to play with you. If puppies are standoffish, leave. Brian says, consider this. If Biscuit hadn't passed, you wouldn't even be thinking of this dog. It's destiny. That is true. Cooter says, it's your wife. Oh, the Goodwill pallets. John says, what he meant to say is his golden doodle took 2 weeks to be more discreet where he peed. Check your golf shoes. John, maybe what's up? Get the puppy now and another one in October. The reason God gave us 2 hands is so we can pet 2 dogs at the same time. Or in Biscuit's case, you have to pet me with both hands. It's like, hey, where's your other hand? That actually could be in play because we have considered getting 2 dogs. Ideally, we would want 2 from the same batch, but we'll see. Get her pregnant, take her mind off the dog. Wait, it's normally the other way around. Not doing that. Oh, can you imagine me with like a little human? Oh man. Yes, the bell. Yes, the bell. That's how Biscuit was bell trained. Hit the bell when it's time to potty. Yes, and I think that's how this breeder. She also bell trains all of her Havanese. Card Hobbyist says, after my dog of 14 years passed, I ended up waiting over a year before I got a new dog, and it was a stray dog that randomly showed up at my house. Interesting. Everybody's different. John says George needs to catch some of them North Korea trash balloons instead of fish. We had one of those turn carriers land in town a few weeks ago. If you knock up the old lady, then you won't have to get a dog. You know what goes well with a puppy? A kid. No, just kidding. I meant a million more Cubs cards. So we'll see. So we're going over there a little bit later this morning, and maybe tomorrow there will be a new puppy. Let's go back to the top of the chat. Good morning, George. Good evening to you. Redbirds or Deadbirds. Cubs are hot. Watch out. Cubs with another dub last night. How about that? And my favorite kind of dub, a dub beating the Cardinals. And was it a walk-off? Was it last night? I wasn't watching. I was watching the Olympics. I think it was a walk-off in the ninth, like 3 runs to come back and win. Fly the W. Sing the damn song. Let's go. Mr. Archer's in the house. Good morning. Steve is here. What's happening? Brian, good morning. Talk about that Cub game. Mike Talkman. The summer of Talkman. It hasn't been the summer of Talkman in 2024, but maybe it's just a late blooming summer for Mike Talkman. Good morning. Oh wait, we just said that. This is for the high rollers with no chauffeurs. What's going on? Good morning. Red Light's here. Cooter's here. Todd's here. What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Peter, good morning. Happy Friday. Mikey's in the house. What's happening? Kyle, good Friday to you. Every morning now when I get the YouTube notification, I am hoping it's news from PSA on Walter. Hopefully soon. I'll I can shoot Matt a message maybe today and see if there's been any movement on my sub. It was in great as of July 24th or whenever the Madison Card Show was. It was in grading. So he said you should have it back by the August 11th Janesville show. George says these Olympics seem to have plenty of controversy. They do. They all do, but this one seems even more intense. Yeah. It's annoying as fuck. Let's go Uzbekistan. Bubblegum cardboard in the house. Brian says the way the French cheer when he comes up for air is cool. Reminds me of the Skull chant at Vikings game. Yes, it's really cool. Jody, what's up? Good morning. Sports card ripping teacher can't get enough Snoop with these Olympics. I haven't caught any, like just brief portions of Snoop. But I'm watching most of it like during the day, like during the actual events. And then we have it on at night, but there's not much. I haven't caught much Snoop. Is he on like a certain channel? Because I'm like all over. I just watch whatever's I'm interested in. Gymnastics, basketball, swimming. Those are like my 3 favorite Summer Olympic sports. Johnny Boy Cards, what's up? Good morning. Red Light says, send that shit back. I think he's talking about the laptop. Yes. Get a Lenovo. Wi-Fi mesh sucks. I'm starting to think that. George says, South Korea been winning their normal events of shooting, archery, and fencing. I know why. I teach at schools that have those teams. Have never seen some of the team members in class ever. They're training for the Olympics. They generally live in dormitories, eat every meal with their team, practice from sunrise until about 9 or 10 p.m., and do it all again the next day. Wow. Zach says, are you taking your e-bike to the pond before you drive it over and pick up your new dog? A lot of things coming to fruition today, and I'm here for it. Thanks for the moon rookie. Hey, thank you. Christian, good morning. Friday's off in the summer, the way to go. List those Brett Rippon cards. And the Bears played last. Didn't watch the Bears game either. Red Light says, I needed to make a trip up there and help you get your shit working. I need somebody to help me get my shit working. Orlando, good morning. Victor, what's up? Bats are waking up in Chicago. I love it. Brian says, I thought you got mesh Wi-Fi. I do. For some reason, parts of it suck. Billy Joe, good morning. We're going to play Name That Player this morning. And I did not prepare, so we're going to have to do it on the fly this morning. Thank you, Card Hobbyist. And I think we got to those chats. Let's see. Where are we at? Michael Renicky, good morning. Kyle says you could progress from fishing, get a retriever, grow a duck dynasty beard, and start hunting ducks on the pond. I can't hunt my ducks. They're like my wild pets. My wild pets. If that happens, we'll know you're changing your own oil. John says, my PSA order finally moved into assembly after 8 weeks of research into ID. What are the stages of a PSA order? How American doesn't win any context involving guns is an embarrassment to Bitcoin. Porter, good morning. Tea Timer, what's up? Good morning to you. I did some cleanup on my eBay store, and thanks to my buddy Mark in, my buddy Mark in Macomb. Check this out. Let's present my screen. Did a little work on my eBay store. I've got a new header. Oop, wrong one. I've got a new header. Thank you to my buddy Mark. Made that 1 million Cubs header for my eBay store. Added a couple featured categories. I've had player lots in 1970 football. Those were kind of my test runs. I added 1976 Topps baseball, which I added over 300 yesterday, 99 cents each, free shipping on those 76 Topps baseball singles. And then autographs, which it looks like I need to, looks like those got cut off. I need to minimize the font a little bit on the autographs. So you can click on the autographs, and here you go. Look at those prices. Look at these prices. Oh, goodness. There's some cheap autos in here. First Bowman Chrome autos, $5. Hey, with that coupon, you'll save 25% off when you buy 7 or more cards. So some good autographs. So check out my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Let's get the banner up. There you go. Get that scrolling. So there you go. 1 million Cubs LLC. Did a little cleanup. Working on categories. Did that a little bit last night. Got some, trying to work on 70s. Get the singles in. I've got the autograph category on. I'll be working on a refractor category. And then I'll probably, with what's left over, it'll probably be divvied up into teams. So basically the 70s, just because I have so much and there's more set builders for that. A lot of my other stuff is just kind of random. So I think we'll do refractors, autos, and then probably break out the rest into team categories. Cooter says, PSA stages. Take the fool's money, wait 18 weeks, assign arbitrary grade, eventually send card back, rinse, repeat. I like it. John says, order arrived, order prep, research ID, grading, assembly, grades ready, QA, and completing. So I think on July 24th, my cards were in grading. And because Matt said, I'm surprised they're not in assembly yet. So they should be, hopefully they're in assembly or getting close to being ready and all that. I'd like them to be sooner than later. Let's see. John says, I had to grade these. Vaginal slang named person. Cooter Lev. Zach says, wait a minute. I'm starting to think you do this video to promote your eBay page. This wasn't all for collaboration. I've been duped. John says, autos with refractors. Which category would they go in? Autos. So autos, refractor autos, I would put in the autograph category. I would leave them out of the refractor category. Maybe I would put refractor, maybe non-auto refractors. But if it's an autograph, it's going to go in the autograph category, whether it's a refractor or not. Now, say it's a 1976 Felix Millan. That will first go in the 1976 Topps baseball category, but a secondary store category would be the New York Mets. So some of the cards will have a couple different categories. Auto refractors, I'll probably just leave into the auto category. Don't go too micro. That's the thing, and that's kind of why I've stayed away from categories, because I didn't want to. Because it's time consuming to even bulk editing. It is time consuming. I mean, when I was working on, I think 74 or 76 last night, and there's like 3,000. I have 3,000 items or 2,500 items from 1976. So, and going through and there's football, baseball, basketball. So click even in bulk edit, unless there's a way that I can do it quicker. I don't know. I'm sure there is. I'm sure I could download an Excel file. I don't know. That would be actually, you know what? That probably would be quicker, because all of the store categories have a numerical code. But I don't know if if once I went back to change it, that would probably duplicate. I don't want to fuck around with that. I'll just do it my slower way, I guess. George says, I don't see. I don't see a hockey and soccer category at the top. Need to list more. Hopefully, Biscuit's old shit doesn't show up as a category on your store. Please create a Hall of Fame rookie category. I like the idea. However, it would be pretty time consuming for me, because I don't know. Baseball, I could handle. Football, no. It would be difficult for me. I'm not saying no, I won't do it. I'm saying no, it would not be easy. Because I can't, like baseball, I can tell you, oh, he's a Tom Seaver, Hall of Famer. Who else is laying next to me? But then there's guys in the Football Hall of Fame that's like, really? He's in the Hall of Fame? So it would take me more time. I'll think about it. 99 cent cards, CA. How many listings do you typically try to complete per day, and do you list new items daily? So there is no number, because sometimes my days it depends on the day. If I take in a Goodwill pallet, number one is always shipping. So shipping's always, top of the list. If I have 400 items to ship, there's probably not going to be any items listed that day. If I take in a Goodwill pallet, it'll probably, if I list anything, it's probably going to be a couple items here and there. I do try to list, not every day, but I try to throw a batch in. It's a lot now that but the 70s, I'm pretty much done listing the 70s outside of a small pile of like Hall of Famers still and stuff that I'll probably just couch listing. So that was really easy, because I could just scan it, upload it, 95% accuracy on Cardi Pro, make a couple changes, boom, and upload. So that's why, actually, I take that back. I have a bunch of baseball. The only 70s singles, with the exception of stars for baseball, because commons for baseball are basically quarter cards. So I'm going to list those on eBay. Whereas the leftover 70s football and basketball, those are in the dollar boxes. So yesterday I listed like 500 cards. Today I say I probably won't list it, but I might list a couple hundred today. It just kind of depends. Um, I think what's my shipping? Had a pretty good shipping day yesterday, and it depends on what I have to ship also. So there's not like I don't have a set goal on listings. I have 208 awaiting shipments, so that's pretty manageable. So it just kind of depends. It's not like I don't go in with, and maybe I should go and say today I need to list 100 cards, but it's got to be 100 good cards. This actually I'm not going to show it because I think I'm going to use that for name that player. But there's some cards that I'll probably need to get up here sooner than later. But there's no like daily, like it just kind of depends on, if sales are down and I don't have many items to ship, there's going to be more items to list. If there's a whole bunch of items to ship, the listing is going to take a backseat. John says, took 3 years to train Bo to say Felix Millon's name correctly. The new dog won't ever be trained. Uncle Rich is here. Good morning. Philly Joe says, do you mini cards, tobacco cards, any difficulty scanning or CDP? I have hundreds, lots of numbered ones. So I have not figured out a way to get those scanned in. Card Dealer Pro, since I can't scan them in, I don't know how accurate they are with Card Dealer Pro. But I've tried multiple different ways to scan them in using a feed scanner, and I have not been able to successfully scan mini cards in. So right now, if they are numbered, I'll just list from my phone. If it's like Otani, Julio Rodriguez, Bobby Witt Jr., stuff like that, they'll list from my phone. If it's just some randos, they're just in a pile. So, the pile gets bigger. So, some go in quarter boxes, some go in dollar boxes, depending on what it is. So that's kind of how I'm handling it so far. Zach is out. Enjoy your new dog selection. May it be as easy as your first estate sale purchase. Hey, wouldn't that be something? Hall of Fame rookie cards kind of lost its luster once 1981 rolled around. Stukes here. What's up? Good morning. Cooter says you only need 2 categories. 1, cards. 2, cards Cooter wants, and 2, other shit. Get you a food issue category in there. And that's a pretty good idea because I do have a lot of food issues. Zach is back. Well, that was fast. Change in direction with family activities upstairs. You know what else is time consuming? Me spending an hour a day watching this show. I know where I stand now. There you go. This may be the longest answer ever given to a question. Could be. What's up, Kendall? Good morning. Happy Friday. Grinding for Good is here. How do you scan your starting lineup figures? I was never a starting lineup. I was never a starting lineup guy. I had some, but I was never big into it. Which former NFL punter invented starting lineups? Oh, I wanted to say Fred Cox, but he was a kicker, and B, he invented the Nerf football, I believe. Oh man, you're going to have to tell me. Was it Maury Buford? I have no idea on the former punter that invented starting lineups. You'll have to tell me. I had some thoughts on eBay and Pat McAnally. Really? See, that was a name that wouldn't have. Zach says Bo obviously doesn't watch our channel. Former Bengal. Pat McAnally. I had no idea. I guess I should watch Zach's videos more often. Big boy cards category. So I had some thoughts on. So I'm ramping up my eBay. I'm ramping up my eBay store. And I think it's kind of been spurred by the whole news that we learned last week with Burbank. leaving the platform, going to the new Fanatics platform. And here's my thought, just only my opinion and my thoughts surrounding it. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think some out there think that this is a I will get to Travis's comment also, because I do want to I want to talk about that briefly about pro debut. People are like, oh, this is doom. This is doom and gloom. And it's not, as Rich says, eBay's not going anywhere. eBay's a monster. And even as Rob Veras says, it was a leap of faith. And some people are like, well, if Burbank's leaving eBay, I've got to leave eBay. I'm a low dollar seller. I want to go to the new platform. And here, there's a couple things that there's an issue with a couple of those things. Number one, Fanatics Collect, the new platform, is brand new. It's been this is like the second week that it's been running under this new name. The former PWCC Fanatics bought PWCC. B, this was a deal that Fanatics reached out to Burbank and made this decision. Fanatics Collect isn't going to be, just because Burbank is taking their 40 million card inventory to the Fanatics platform, that doesn't mean Fanatics is going to be the new bargain box platform where, like Sport Lots, it's not going to be where you can buy a bunch of 99-cent cards. Well, why did Fanatics want Burbank? They wanted the 40 million inventory. But as Rob has said in interviews, thank you, Zach, by the way, for sending me the link to, there was a video on YouTube. Rob was interviewed about this. It's pretty brief, doesn't go into too much detail, but it does answer some questions. And it also kind of leads me to believe some things, like Fanatics doesn't want the dollar box sellers. They want Burbank's inventory, and all of a sudden they now have 40 million listings. And Rob even said, we're going to have to get more, like they will be buying more high-end cards, because that's kind of the goal. Yes, they want that inventory, but at the same time, like, hey, we need the sales, and we need some, as somebody mentioned earlier, some big boy cards. So Rob even mentioned that in the interview. They're going to be buying a lot of cards, because a lot of that 40 million is bargain basement cards. Again, I don't think once Burbank leaves the platform, which is probably going to be over the next couple months on eBay, are you all of a sudden going to see an uptick in your sales? Highly unlikely. Will there be some customers from Burbank that will come buy cards from you? Yeah, absolutely. Probably. 2.8 million inventory on eBay. That's pretty significant. Think of how many cards. And I want to go in before I go on to that, but also, why do they want Burbank's inventory, 40 million inventory from one point of contact? Would you rather have, 400 points of contact with 100,000 cards each, or one point of contact with 40 million? 40 million, one client. So that's kind of why it's like, okay, with this news, and we've already seen the $1.50 free shipping, a lot of volume sellers that realize, and I knew this was going to happen 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, because I am stubborn and set in my ways, and I can sit in my basement and ship cards all day. Like, I kind of enjoy it. I'd rather list than ship, but I'd rather ship than list, because shipping means money. Listing means maybe money. The shipping part means I made money on these. So the more I get to ship, the more money in my pocket. So I'm ramping up in the event that, hey, maybe I can take some of these customers that are eBay customers that would buy from Burbank. Now, will a lot of Burbank's customers follow them to the Fanatics platform? 100%. Absolutely. But how many of those sales that Burbank has on eBay are just eBay buyers? Whether they're card buyers on eBay, they don't want to mess around with any other platforms, or they're just like grandma who wants to buy some cards for her grandson and or granddaughter, and goes to eBay, obviously with 2.8 million inventory. Their stuff's probably going to come up and they're probably going to have something in their inventory that grandma wants. And grandma's like, well, I just know it's going to be eBay. So Nick jumps in and says, how many Burbank's customers on eBay are just casually searching for a few cards or one? And I don't know the answer to that, but I can kind of compare it to like my store and my sales. I think I'm around 20% repeat customers in my eBay store. And 80% are, first time, one time, whatever it might be. And I see a lot of like one-offs. I get a lot of, and I'm sure any volume seller has this, but I just sold a Madison Muskies minor league card to somebody yesterday and said, this is my uncle. He passed away. I'm trying to buy a bunch of his cards. Selling old minor league cards, I will get sales from a person with the same name. Very well could be that player. I sold one a few weeks ago to the son of one of these players. So those are what I would consider one-offs. And they're going to eBay because they don't know where to buy cards. They don't know. A lot of collectors don't even know about sport lots or even ComC, really, to that matter. But they know eBay. So those are some of my thoughts on that. We did go, I wouldn't say we went in depth on Burbank, but video titled All About eBay. We talked about that last week or earlier this week, whenever it was. Let's see. Stuke says, I take the cards out of the starting lineups and give the figures to kids. And I think the cards are worth more than the starting lineups. Like the starting lineups, out of the package, what are they worth? A quarter, 50 cents, $1 at most. But the cards, you can put some of the cards. I mean, even the more common ones are a couple bucks, but then some of them are a little more rare. Go for more. Get to Travis's comment. I'm still debating. 2024 Topps Pro debut releases next week. I haven't seen a checklist. I've seen some of the cards that will be in the set. I do have the itch to buy a case of Pro Debut, but I haven't pulled the trigger just yet. I'm also still deciding if I do, is it going to be a hobby case or a jumbo case? In past years, I've had much better luck with jumbo cases than I have with hobby cases. You get more autographs in the hobby case. However, they're typically paper, very few chrome autos. Whereas the jumbo boxes, you get less autos, but you typically get more chrome autos. So a little more value there. Davis, what's going on? You sell on Whatnot? I do not. I do think live selling is an avenue that I will travel down eventually. I do sometimes here on YouTube with some bulk lots. I would probably say with where all of my eggs are, all my eggs are in one basket, basically on eBay. eBay Live is probably something that I'll look into. I've watched a couple, eBay Lives, and I've looked into it a little bit. So it's live selling is certainly something that I will eventually end up doing. Which platform, I don't know. I would assume I'll probably start with eBay Live when that time comes, but that remains to be seen. John says, wait, Burbank is leaving eBay. Rich says, Rob said in an interview, eBay is not going anywhere. It was a good deal for him to go to Fanatics. Absolutely. And that's I don't think like me or you could just go sign up for Fanatics Collect and here I want to take all my stuff. And they're going to be like, we don't want you. We don't want your stuff. Is ramping up the new scaling up? I think here's what I mean by ramping up. It doesn't necessarily mean scaling up. I think ramping up means uh, categorizing my inventory, putting the fancy little Canva created logo things that I have. Um, that's kind of what I mean by ramping up. Not necessarily scaling up, where scaling up is growing my inventory. And that's kind of how I define the two. George says they go on Fantastics or something, but not probably for most sellers on eBay. And I would totally agree with that. But it will probably be good for eBay sellers, in my opinion, says George. Rich says Rob is going to be at another Fanatics places. The low volume, low dollar sellers are not going to do what Rob does. Absolutely. And it wasn't in the move with Burbank, has a lot to do with just his massive inventory, along with he has the Burbank card show. I don't think anything was mentioned regarding that, but I'm sure that had a little bit to do with it as well. Zach says, leave eBay and enjoy jamming out to your butt rock on your Zune player while searching for dog names on Bing. John says, not sure if that's accurate, Rich. Part of luring Burbank is to lure other sellers as well. The goal is to grow the platform, which means attracting sellers, not Burbank's inventory. Folks need to be big picture thinkers. Rob is viewed as a Pied Piper. A large portion of the hobby needs to be told what to do. There's a lot of truth to those comments. Zach, best comment of the day, says Todd. 99-cent card CA says ramping up, feeding the beast that is eBay as well. Since the Burbank news still fairly new to the low dollar cards, have done higher priced memorabilia for over 10 years. Nice. Zach says it's card collecting. No offense, big thinker isn't a pre-qualification. John says, then there's the large portion of the hobby that thinks eBay driven by sports cards. Spoiler, it isn't. It's trending much higher than in the past. Clothing and books, I would say, are probably, and I guess it depends on what you volume listings. Sports cards are probably up there. When it comes to overall sales, no, because there's a lot of 99-cent card sellers on eBay. So we tried looking this up at one point, but you look at volume sales, and I think there's about 10, about 10% of the top 100 volume sellers, and that's based on feedback. So those are transactions. Are sports card sellers. I think the top couple, the top 1, 2 are books and music, I think. But there's a, when it comes to dollars and cents, which is what eBay cares about, they don't care about your listings. They want the final value fees. They want the sales that come with it. What's going to move on their platform? What's going to make them money? Listings don't make them money. Sales do. Listings are also an important part of the wheel, though, because good listings can generate traffic, more eyeballs on your platform. So it's good to have, hey, we have 40 million sports cards on our platform, whatever it might be. Where are we at? Todd says, as strictly a collector, I don't see me going away from eBay to buy low-priced cards. Stick with what I know. And I love that viewpoint. That's an actual, where is somebody that sticks to eBay? Where are they going to go? And I'm in the same, as a buyer, as a collector, I'm similar. eBay's the only platform, and let me, before I'm super like, I'm pretty sure, I don't buy on Whatnot. I don't buy on ComC. I don't buy on Sport Lots. I don't buy on any other platform. Now, I buy on non-sales platforms like Facebook Marketplace or Facebook groups. I bought on Twitter. I bought on internet forums. Now, have I bought on ComC? No, actually, no. I don't think I've ever bought on ComC. I bought on Sport Lots. It's been 8 years, I think, since I last bought something on Sport Lots. But would I go to Fanatics to buy? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to stick same as Todd. It's easy. eBay's easy. And most of what I buy is going to be on eBay. And it's super for me as a buyer, it's super easy. So, I'm not going to follow. And I don't know. And I mentioned this the other day. I've bought from Burbank before, but I mean, it's been years. I mean, it's probably been 10 years since I last bought something from Burbank. So I'm certainly not going to follow them to another platform if I don't buy from them now. 99-cent card says, set a goal of doing 50 to 100 new listings a day for the month of August. John says, Madison Muskie is my stripper name. George says, I think your thinking is correct with the do it for eBay customers. There are many buyers that are held prisoner by eBay. Zach says, I bet a lot of buyers on eBay don't even realize who they are buying a card from. I think you're right. They think they're buying from eBay like Amazon. It's funny. I will get, it's not like it doesn't happen every day or every week, but it's fairly common where somebody will send me a message and they'll be like, hey, I bought this from, and tag me on Twitter or send me a Facebook message. I've had a couple of my current and former dealers at my card shows. And they're like, I saw these cards and I didn't even realize it until I got I saw the return address. And I've bought from people on from Twitter that I didn't know who they were. And I'll get they're like, hey, you just bought this card from me on eBay. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Thanks for the deal. Nick says, anyone open the 2024 Topps Olympic cards looking for beach volleyball singles? If you have, very cool. I did not buy. I wish I would because I'm really invested into this Olympics, and it's something different. I would enjoy it, and it's top of mind right now. Kyle says eBay is infused in society. People say eBay that shit. They don't say whatnot that shit or ComC that shit. That's very true. 100%. Max says ramping up sounds like a corporate meeting word. Yuck. It is. So is scaling up. So is everything. George says, well, shit. It's always about the money. Always. The top supposed seller on eBay's bottom priced items are $4 versus 99 cents. Their higher volume yields higher earnings as well. Absolutely. Kyle says, as an eBay investor, when listening to conference calls, corporate really likes the fees they get every time a $1.50 card sells, right? Aaron says, why did you stop buying on Sport Lots? It's difficult. It's a couple reasons. There's not much on Sport Lots in the last few years since I last bought on 8 years, 6 years, whatever. What I could buy on Sport Lots, I can find on eBay for probably the same price, maybe even cheaper. And B, the search is just terrible. Like, if I want to go buy Dylan Cease cards, I can find like 3 or 4 that I need at a good price, but they're from 3 or 4 different sellers. And after shipping, I'm paying the same as eBay. And I can just go to eBay, buy the damn cards, and save a lot of time. So I think bottom line, it's time. It's time. It's too time consuming to buy on Sport Lots with what I need. I'm not just going to go on and, okay, I need this card. Here it is. I'm just going to, because I'm usually buying multiple cards when I'm shopping around like that. So that's basically what it all came down to, is it just takes too much time. Nick says, if you get a standard envelope returned to you as a seller because the address was bad, what do you do? Here, and this is probably not, I wouldn't recommend doing what I do, but I just put it in a pile and I wait for the person to reach out. And if they don't reach out, it just stays in that pile for X amount of time. So that's a lot. And the reason why, and here there's also a little more insight into why I do that. Many, many times it's a fake sale. And what I mean by a fake sale is there's a term, I can't remember what it was. It's common on Amazon. But basically people use low dollar items to buy for feedback. I give automatic positive feedback upon a sale. Now they're bought and paid for, and then you send, but somebody's out $1, but they get to build their feedback up, and then they probably use that in nefarious ways. But on the same token, there's no way for me to figure out. There are some like warning signs. Obviously, low feedback is one. Number two is if the name and the user ID don't match up, or the name and the address don't match up. That's pretty easy to notice. There are also names that come up at frequently that I know like this is going to get returned. So those are some of the signs. So that's why when I get them returned, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I've had 150 feedback buyer pull this. So sometimes you don't know. So that's why I don't waste the time. If they reach out, say I never got this, it's like, oh, I'll just hit the refund. So that's kind of how I handle it. Would I recommend that? No, but that's how I do it. Gundy says, I buy some singles on Whatnot, but you need to look a lot harder to find good deals than on eBay. There you go. It's a time suck. Kendall says, have you bumped up to the 100K listing level store yet? No, I am still about 2,000. Once the calendar rolled over, I had about 2,500 slots open. So with 2,500 slots plus the thousands of cards that I'll sell in the month of August, I think I still have at least another month before I really make that decision. And plus I can probably get away with, I think I think I'm at 10. It's like 600 listings. I think. No, it might be more than that. Whatever it is, because it's 10 cents per listing. And it's $240 more. So whatever, 2,400. So essentially another 2,000 listings before bumping up, but also take into consideration it's an extra $100 in supplies. So I am not making that jump just yet. But I probably will, certainly by the end of the year. I think I'll get through August, and I think I'll probably be able to get through September as well. Hopefully I sell a whole lot of cards and don't have to do that. And right before I make that decision, and say it's in September, I might just run a big 50% off sale to really dump off a bunch of inventory. Like John mentioned, some of the first to market cards, like 2024 Top Series 1, maybe like I'm just going to end all of these listings. They're 99 cents anyway. Less and less people are buying those. The further out we get, the less buyers. However, 2024 Topps Big League, I had like a 20 card order this morning. So it's one of those, but I don't really get those with Top Series 1. Big League's a little different story because it's not as, out there as Top Series 1. So there's a couple things where I'm still going to I think I'm still going to manage around those 60,000 listings, and not just blow into 1,000 or 100,000. Strategery. I had one return and held on to it a month before relisting. It was a $3.99 card, so I was surprised. Cody's in the house. Good morning. Will you have any card savers at your next show? I won't have any in Madison, but I can bring some to Janesville if you're going to be in Janesville on Sunday, August 11th. But I won't be set up in Madison, so I won't have any with me in Madison. Kendall says, consider opening a second store. Absolutely 0%. I don't like to say 0% or 100% on decisions like that, but there's a 0% chance I open a second store. And here's the reason why. And I've mentioned this multiple times. I have the same inventory. It's not it's dumb. Harsh to say, but it's dumb to open a second store if you have the same stuff, because you're saving money, but you're giving yourself more headaches. Now you're having to log in, log out of 2 different stores. Your sales don't transit. Like, you can't market yourself as, hey, come to my store, buy 7 cards, get 25% off. Well, which store? Well, I want 4 cards from this store and 3 cards from this store. Will you honor that sale? You could honor the sale, but eBay's not going to honor the sale. So no, 0% that I'll ever open a second store unless I start selling books. If I buy a pallet of books, I'll open a bookstore. That's not going to happen either. But there's a better chance of that happening than me opening a second eBay store for low dollar sports cards. So the answer is resounding no. Good morning, Harlan. All right, you guys can chat amongst yourselves briefly. I'm gonna get some cards ready for Name That Player. Oh, there's some random autographs in here. Let's see. We're gonna get at least a couple Hollywood cards, some pop culture, I guess you could call it. I think a lot of these we've already done. Let's see. We'll do 1 or 2. We'll do that one. That one's too easy, but we'll do it anyway. Oh, we got to do that one. Okay. So there's some. Let's see. We're going to do this one. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. No other chats are coming in. We're going to play Name That Player. Let's roll the, here's the updated scoreboard. Uncle Rich took the lead last week with 6 points. Max and the Card Hobbyist tied with 4. Nick AA Cards have 3 each. All right. Some of these I think we've already done. I think these are just piles of previous games. What's in here? Oh, here's another pop culture. We'll do that one. Do we have any good wrestling cards? He's kind of a big name. That one. All right. We're getting there. Oh, here's a basketball. We'll do. And 4 beater 70s cards. Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, I think, is a good number. Mikey says, did you see what I got out of the collection I bought? I did. Unless you've added more to it. I found more. All right, so let's start off baseball, basketball, pop culture, baseball, wrestling, pop culture, basketball, baseball, pop culture, wrestling, baseball. Save the easiest for the last. All right. Name that player. There's the leaderboard. We're going to start off with 70s baseball. Oh, before we start, let me get my YouTube here so we don't have any. All right, where are we at? YouTube. Make sure the volume's down. Oh, and take this time to like this video. View channel. Free for all Friday. And ignore the political ads. There we go. All right. First up, Uncle Rich already said, turn on YouTube. This is going to be a tough one. 1976 Topps. Cleveland Indians. This is a tough one. Kind of looks like Burt Reynolds. It is not Dennis Eckersley. Not Dennis Eckersley. Oh, wow. Michael Renicky knows his Indians from 1976. It's Don Hood. Michael Renicky. Look at you. Michael Renicky. All right. So, Michael, you are now at 3 points. So, you're in a tie with Nick and Double A Cards. All right. Next up, we're doing basketball. Michael says he mistook him for Eck back in the day. I need to get this one sleeved up. We've got some basketball. Women's basketball. Women's basketball. Not Swoop. It is Breanna Stewart. I was going to give a hint. She went off yesterday against Belgium. It is Stewie, Breanna Stewart. What a game she had yesterday. Nick with the point. And he moves into a tie with Max and the Card Hobbyist. 4 points for them. All right. Next up. Oh, where's my live chat? There we go. Next up, pop culture. I think we all know this guy. Mikey might not. Might predate Mikey. This guy's voice and the music scared the shit out of me as an 8-year-old. It is from Unsolved Mysteries, Robert Stack. Robert Stack. Who was the first? Card Hobbyist. Card Hobbyist getting Robert Stack. Card Hobbyist moves into second place. All right, Card Hobbyist. There we go. All right. And boom. All right, next up, we're going back to baseball. Max says, had him already last season, zero idea. Oh, did we do? Because I've done quite a few of those Hollywood cards. All right, next up, vintage baseball. I know we haven't done this one. New York Mets, 1976 tops. This is another difficult one. He's a pitcher. He played for a bunch of teams. Oh, we got comments coming in. Let's see. Where are we at? It's not Jerry Kuzman. It is Ken Sanders. Wow, look at you, Uncle Rich. Ken Sanders. He played for a lot of teams. Played for the A's, Red Sox, the A's again, the Brewers, the Twins, the Indians, the Angels, the Mets, Ken Sanders. Uncle Rich with the point. And Uncle Rich extends his lead. He's at 7. And now we go to everyone's favorite category, wrestling. All right. Wrestling. Uncle Rich says Mark Marinello would have gotten that even faster. Who can get this guy? AJ Styles is correct. We got a couple that knew this one. Who was the fastest? Joe Trotto. AJ Styles. Where's my wrestling pile? All right, Joe Trotto with the point. I think that's your first point of the new season. Joe Trotto. We're going back to Hollywood for this one. John says that was Brandon Marsh. Close. Close. All right, next up, Hollywood. Hollywood. I just want the actor's name. I don't want any of the characters he played. I think Uncle Rich will probably get this one. It is Moore. Harlan was first. Dudley Moore. I don't know if Michael Renicky meant Dudley, but he said Duffy, so I am not going to give credit. I will give credit to Harlan for Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore. Harlan with a point. Let's see. Harlan. That's his first point of the new game. Card hobbyist only could think of Arthur, and that's what made me like, oh, we're not going to take character names. Let's see. Next up, basketball. Basketball. New York Knicks. Big guy, 6'10". Born in 1982. Amare Stoudemire. Yes, and I think Max is on the board. Finally, Max. Amare and Max with the point. Where are we at? Max ties Card Hobbyist. Second place, 5 points apiece. All right, next we go. Ooh, another tough 76 Topps baseball. We go north of the border to Toronto. The Blue Jays. This guy started his career with the Minnesota Twins. Let's see. It's not Alt. It is, let's see. It's not Sixto Lezcano. It is not Boswell. Is it? Nope. It's not Lockwood. It's not Bell. It's not Baylor. It's not Mullenix. It's not Brett. It is Gomez. Uncle Rich. Luis Gomez. It's a beater. Look at that beater. Luis Gomez. Uncle Rich with another point. He's at 8. All right, next. More pop culture. This is an easy one. Oh, that was set. This is 79. Oh, that was 79. See, that's why I hate 79 and 76. They look the same. All right, next we go. Pop culture. I only want the actor's name. I don't want any characters he played. There was even a song written about this guy by Elton John. That's a joke, by the way. Tony Danza. Hold me closer. Tony Danza. All right. I think Card Hobbyist was the first. He was. Card Hobbyist with the point. Tony Danza. Fans of the game. Everybody knew Tony. Card Hobbyist. Now he's in second place on his own. We've got 2 cards left. All right. I think we got 3 cards left. 3 cards left. Wrestling. We got some wrestling. By the way, this is our last wrestling card for the day. I don't know if he's a current champion, but he has been a champion at one point. It's not Roman Reigns. Nope, it's not Bruno Sammartino. Not Jake the Snake Roberts. Drew, it is Drew. Yes. We're going to give this to Mikey. Mikey, that's your first point. Drew McIntyre. There we go. Drew McIntyre for Mikey. Mikey is on the board. All right. All right. Now we go to baseball, to our last tricky baseball. And this is actually, this guy is probably the best of the four, had the best career of the four. We can double check. It'll be fun to double check and see what their career wars were. And this guy, tough picture. Where's Cooter at? He's a giant. Type in baseball reference right now. And where's my StreamYard? Steve Ontiveros is correct. Uncle Rich. Steve Ontiveros. And I think he probably was. The last one's going to be super easy, by the way. That one. I think between Steve Ontiveros, Luis Gomez, Ken Sanders, and Don Hood, I'm guessing Steve Ontiveros had a much better career. In fact, I bet if we looked at WAR, Steve Ontiveros probably has a higher WAR than the other three players combined. That's my guess. Let's see. Mike Schmidt in the background. I like it. Did I give Uncle Rich his point? I don't think so. Uncle Rich with 9 points. And our last one, you've got to have a quick internet or quick fingers for this one because everybody's going to know this one. Who is this guy? I'll give it to Michael. I think Bob. It's Bob Barker. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Should we give it to Michael Renicky? I'll let the chat decide. Michael Renicky with Boib, which we know is a typo and he meant Bob, or is it Card Hobbyist with Barker? Who should get the point? I think Bob. We know it's Bob. There's a lot of Bobs in pop culture, but I think it's obvious. We know who it is. So I will let the chat decide who should get that point. Card Hobbyist, who said Barker first, or Michael Renicky, who said Bob. Let's see. Rich says, Max says yes. Rich says no. Harlan says Boyd wins. Give it to Michael. All right. We're going to give it to Michael Renicky. Michael Renicky with the point. And that's his fourth. So he moves up in the standings. All right. Michael Renicky, who, by the way, will be set up at the Madison Card Show Saturday, August 24th. The Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. All right. So let's look up our war. So Steve Ontiveros. There we go. Steve Ontiveros. Now, this is the older Steve Ontiveros. There's two of them. 1973 to 80. Career, only 4.7. 4.7. Where's my pen? So maybe not. I said combined he would have higher than the other three. All right. So let's look up Luis Gomez. Luis Gomez. 74 to 81. Negative 4.4. Okay, I think we've already. So are we? I don't think we're going to get 8 WAR out of Don Hood and Ken Sanders. Negative 4.4 WAR. How does that? Is that like the worst? That's got to be like the worst. He's got to be like the worst Major League Baseball player that played multiple years. 8 seasons with a negative 4.4 WAR. Amazing. That is fascinating. Don Hood. Come on down. He had a 10, 11-year career. Oh, 5.3 Don Hood. And I think Uncle Rich alluded that he had a bunch of saves one year. Saves weren't even a statistic on the back of that card. All right. So we're at like +1 WAR against Steve Ontiveros. Ken Sanders, come on down. Ooh, Ken Sanders probably. Oh, and Don Hood had a higher WAR than Steve Ontiveros. Ken Sanders, 11.2. Ken Sanders, our winner with the highest WAR. Don Hood, second. Steve Ontiveros, third. And Luis Gomez with a terrible -4.4 WAR. WAR was, what is it good for? Let's see. Max is gonna make a ruling here. Point goes to Renicky. Never knew you were a WAR guy. Am I into the WAR statistic? Not necessarily, but I think it's about it's the quickest and easiest measurement to compare players that's out there. And I know there's stat heads that can say, well, it's blah, 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 blah. But I think WAR is right now, another statistic that lays it all out there come along probably. But it's to just go on and get an answer in 30 seconds. A lot easier. Tells you the story. Good morning, Tracy. You're just in time to say goodbye. George, I was busy buying a card. What are you calculating? We were looking at the WAR of 4 of our Name That Player contestants or participants. Luis Gomez, who had a -4.4 WAR in like 9 seasons of baseball. Don Hood, Steve Ontiveros, who I incorrectly assumed he had a higher WAR than the other 3 guys combined. And this guy, Ken Sanders, had over 11 WAR. Let's see. Philly Joe, I'm going to start collecting Saunders to the moon. Michael Renicky says, WAR is a way to compare to different eras based on contemporaries. Certainly has flaws. Every statistic has a flaw. And that's, if you hate WAR, it's okay. You can. We can all have our opinions. But whatever your stat is, there's flaws in it. Whatever stat you prefer, if you prefer a stat. Some people don't like stats. My dad hated computers. Some people hate stats. George says a -4.4. I'm worth more than he is. Yeah. All right. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit up my eBay store. We'll flash that banner. 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. Save 25% off at checkout. I did add over 300 singles from 1976 Topps Baseball. They are in my store now. 99 cents with free shipping. And you can save even more. If you buy 7 or more at regular price, you get that price down to about 75 cents per card. Check it out, 99centcards.com. Let's see. I will be in Janesville, Wisconsin, Sunday, August 11th. So a week from Sunday, I will be set up at the Janesville Card Show. I will have a whole bunch of new inventory dollar boxes. So come see me in Janesville. Still debating on if I'm going to bring any quarter boxes or if I'm just going to try to sell out of my attempt to move some of my dime box inventory, which is former quarter box cards. So that's what I'm going to have in Janesville next Sunday, August 11th. The Madison Card Show returns Saturday, August 24th, and we will once again have 200 tables in 4 rooms. The State Street Ballroom, the Williamson Street Ballroom, the Capitol Ballroom upstairs, along with the mezzanine and our TCG only room on the first floor in the Badger State Room. So 200 tables, Madison Card Show, Saturday, August 24th. Show runs 9 to 3, free admission, Saturday, August 24th. September is up in the air as far as how many tables we'll have. The State Street Ballroom right now is booked for the month of September. So We will probably do, if that's the case, we'll still do a TCG only room. But we won't have that State Street ballroom. There'll be less tables, obviously. And then hopefully we can get all rooms secured for the fourth quarter, which hopefully here in the next 2 weeks, I will have dates for October, November, December. Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Next show, August 24th. All righty. Hey, have a great weekend. If I don't see you Saturday or Sunday, I will go live today, or I will go live tomorrow and Sunday. So if I don't see you then, I'll see you Monday. Michael says the Madison Card Show. Be there. So exciting. He will sell you tables with 2 seats, but all you'll need is the edge. There you go. Thank you, Michael. He's going to be set up August 24th. So we will do this again tomorrow morning. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow, so we'll probably roll this out around 8:30 Central Time. Have a great Friday. We'll see you tomorrow.